In this video, we will talk about the book Metamorphosis, which was published in 1915, and it had a long journey, and was published by the author Franz Kafka, who was recognized author in his time.
The main characters of this story: Gregor Samsa, Gret Samsa, Sir Samsa, Mrs. Samsa, Pygmalion, and Escila Megara.
Gregor Samsa wakes up one morning and finds that he has transformed into an respectable insecto. Pondering this new existence, he decides to lay low for a while in his room. However, when his family eventually sees him, the reaction is one of shock and dismay. Gregor becomes dismayed as well at the utter incapability of his situations. The only person who can seem to tolerate the new Gregor is his sister, who brings him food. He seems content to hide in his room and wait for his meals, for a time until he grows restless and decides to venture into the living room. Unfortunately, his father becomes too enraged by the insect's presence, and he throws an apple at Gregor, which buries itself into his back. As the wound festers, Gregor loses his little remaining interest in his own existence. He ceases eating and interacting, until finally one night he opens his door to hear his sister playing the violin. When the family sees him, they shame him, requesting his departure from their lives. Obeying, Gregor returns to his room and dies.
I like this book because it was a classic of the literature. Was a surrealist book that was very quick and short to reading, which put us in the shoes of the main character, that was Gregory Samsa. And the main character was preserving his fears, concerns, and moods, and so on.
Well, I'm going to talk about the recommendation of this book called The Metamorphosis. It's a really interesting book at my expectations more than anything. I think the book is really, wow, first crazy, but it's really interesting to read. The first time I read, I just think like, wow, I don't know, just how amazing the literature makes you in a place that is metaphoric, but makes you think that makes you relation the things like it was really the thing that was happening. It's, I don't know, it's some curious. It's weird to explain how this story about a man that becomes a bug, but just in a metaphoric way. It was like something difficult to explain. In anything that I just want to say, it's because I recommend you really to read this book. It's very classic from literature. It's not like classic, but it's like a good book, and all the story becomes this book a great book, and that's all. Just need to sit down in your chair or take 5 minutes to take the read, and all the story, it's like great, but it's for some people already. Well, in any ways, I just want to say it's a great book. In some ways, it's fantastic about this case from that man, and that's all.